Hello, everyone. I'm Lauren Burke, founder, CEO, and chief marketer with LJS Advisory. I'm here today with Jacqueline Hermes from Acelity Marketing. She is founder, CEO, and does all the things at Acelity Marketing, bringing it to today where it's a very successful B2B marketing company, which serves, really leading companies in the industry, helping them stand out with fantastic marketing services. So I won't put words in Jackie's mouth, but she has had a tremendous journey from founder, CEO of a startup to where Acelity is today. So let's hear it directly from Jackie. Jackie, welcome to this fun episode of Female Founders. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, a little bit about Acelity, and what's your unique superpower.
Yeah. So about myself, I've been running Acelity for 12 years on Wednesday, which is wild. And I seriously remember the beginning like it was yesterday. So it's really weird thinking back to starting it and just where will I be in 5 years and 10 years? And, and then I feel like time flies so quickly. What do I do? Like you said, I do a lot. I feel like sometimes I'm really able to kind of step out of the business and work on it. And then sometimes I'm deeper in the business and it kind of ebbs and flows. I think it's like that for a lot of founders. And I kind of thought by this point I would be totally not in the business. And, I am still,
Yep.
Depending on the day. What is my superpower or what is the agency superpower?
I want to know yours and the agencies.
I would say that my superpower is I am very adaptable and I keep a good attitude through it, which I feel like is something that I have really worked on. It can be difficult to be able to hop into any situation and be able to just handle whatever comes up. And especially when you are an agency, lots of things can come up. And when you're the boss, when there is feedback to be given, it comes to you, right? So being able to take that and figuring it out and do something productive with it, I think is something that I've really learned over time. So I'm very proud of myself for that one. The agency, we have had all of our team members with us for a long time. Our tenure is over 5 years, average tenure. So I don't think a lot of agencies can say that. And I think that just makes it really special as the team works together. We all really know each other. We know our working styles and we're able to produce just really fantastic work together.
Absolutely. Having the team really kind of embedded in your client's business and having an attachment to the company, I think really says a lot. Back to your first point around being able to, be resilient and kind of pull up from these challenges. Are you still finding yourself being surprised by some of the challenges that come your way?
Yeah, yes and no. It's like the challenges present themselves. They're similar challenges, but they present in different ways, right? And when you figure out how to handle one kind of challenge and then bigger challenges come along, but they're all, I would get kind of similar, right? The same challenges that I was dealing with when we were selling services at $2,500 a month are coming along with clients that are paying $25,000 a month. But it's at a much different scale. The stakes are higher. But the problems are still kind of the same, which is interesting.
Always be learning. I feel like that's one of my learnings from my early days as founder and CEO trying to build a business. So tell us a little bit about the early days. So your journey to becoming a founder, was there a defining moment in your early career that made you say, right, I need to take this plunge? And what was that?
Oh gosh, was there a defining moment? No, there wasn't really a defining moment. I think that I didn't mind really working for other people. I could have continued doing it. I was kind of like a bull in a china shop working for other people, but somehow it worked.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I didn't get fired 20 times, but they kept me on. I had a lot of opinions, and I think it kind of worked for me, but
Yeah.
I took the leap. I really wanted more flexibility. I really wanted to be able to have time with my son, who at the time, I mean, he's 14 now, and I have since adopted two girls as well. So, I mean, that has been very important to me to be able to spend time with my family, which also ebbs and flows, right? Sometimes I feel
Yeah.
like I actually might be working less if I worked for someone else, but just
Right.
all of that kind of combined, and the level of freedom that I have is definitely unmatched. And it's something that I give to all of our team members too, is just a very high level of freedom.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And my son just turned 9 as well. So, you're obviously very involved when you need to be, whether it's in your child's life or in your business life. It is caring for another child in a way, right? You're everything for the business, just like you're everything for your child. So you just
Yeah.
have to kind of go back and forth. It's funny that you started Excelity during Women's History Month. Was that like an intentional thing or just kind of happened?
Not at all.
Yeah.
No, I was ready to go. I think there
Yep.
was at the job that I was at the time, they had acquired another company, and we had done all of the work to do this huge integration. And then they announced that they were selling off half of the company. And I was like, I think I'm ready to go at this point. So I don't know. Like I said, it was just kind of a culmination of things.
That's awesome. So when you first started out, how did you go to market with your offering? Were you crystal clear on your vision, or were you like, let's just dive in and see what happens?
Oh God, no. I mean, I knew what I wanted to do, and I was in software marketing. So I built a business basically on my own skills. But how to bring it to market, I mean, I tapped my own network. And beyond that, I was like, how the heck am I going to do this? Like, I had sales skills and I had an outgoing personality, but I don't know that I had a great plan beyond that. Frankly, I should have probably had a better plan. I had a few clients before I left my full-time job, so that helped. I also was running a second company, a food-based business.
Oh, cool.
So having a small child, running two companies, and having a full-time job, it was like something had to give.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely should have had more of a plan. I think looking back, you should take the leap before you have your plan fully formed. I think a lot of people really wait too long, and they think that they need everything planned out, and you really don't.
I feel like you need to have, right, the idea and something you feel confident that you can execute, right? But that will like the exact offering will materialize. You have to listen to the marketplace as well, right? Like, what do people need, and adapt to that. So I'm
Yeah.
fully with you on that front. Uh,
Yeah. And if you have revenue, that's important.
yeah, exactly. And I feel like you have that mindset, like, I'm doing this, regardless of what happens, this is going to happen. So,
Yeah.
you know, even in the hard moments, you're like, I got this, trust yourself and go. I'm fully with you there. Um,
Absolutely.
so back to like, what were some of the initial hurdles you tackled? Was there anything that really caught you by surprise? Anything that you felt was really unique to your experience, maybe as a woman and a mother?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the process of selling was difficult,
Yeah.
especially being a fairly young woman trying to sell into sophisticated software companies. I was often the only woman in the room. I
Right.
found myself really trying to make myself seem a lot older, which
Mhm.
being a mom actually helped, because I
Yeah.
was a fairly young mother. So I tried to make myself seem a lot older than I was, which in hindsight seems so silly, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you have the talent and you have the skill, it shouldn't really matter how old you are, but it does matter
Yeah.
to some buyers. So that, I think, was surprising to me, and just felt, I mean, I think a lot of people feel imposter syndrome, and I still feel it, but that very
Yeah.
much felt impostery to me.
I'm sure. Yeah. I feel like when you're chief revenue officer, chief commercial officer, you're everything. Like you have to wear all the hats and just feel comfortable doing it, even if,
Mhm.
you don't, right?
Mhm.
Kind of fake it till you make it. So
Absolutely. People say like that they don't like that phrase, and I'm like, what's not to like? It's exactly what you have to do.
yeah,
And when you're stepping into that next position and it's like that next challenge, you
yeah,
always have to fake it till you make it. And you can be honest that you don't know what the heck you're doing, but you're still, you
yeah,
still have to do the work.
totally. And I feel like when you were just starting out 12 years ago, like marketing was very different, right? Like you didn't have a podcast or a very like steady LinkedIn following, I imagine 12 years ago, right? So
No.
totally different beast.
Yeah, I certainly did not. And in some ways, we were having some of the same conversations, like the sales to marketing divide. I swear we were having those exact same conversations when I
Wow.
left my corporate job, which is wild to think about. Very
That's
weird.
crazy, crazy, crazy.
Yeah,
How far we've come and how far we haven't in
I
some
know. I know.
way. So talk to me and our listeners a little bit about your team. So how did you structure your team in the early stages? Like what was your first hire and how is your team structured today?
Yeah, my first hire was an account manager. And I remember interviewing her and being like, you seem great, hired. And, I probably could have, I don't know, like had more of a structure, but she was great at the job. I think she stayed for about a year and a half before she left to start her own coffee shop, which was cool.
Cool.
After that, I mean, I was really looking at like, what did I want to do and what did I excel at and where did I need to hire outside of
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
So I didn't really want to continue doing all of the account management. I wanted to do more of the strategy and I wanted to
Sure.
be selling. So hiring that account manager seemed important to me. And then I actually hired someone to run Excelity's marketing and kind of like set up our internal processes and whatnot
Right.
fairly early on, which was a big leap and a big investment in the company.
Yeah.
I think in hindsight, it was probably a little early to do that. And I'm glad that I did it because she now, 10 years later, became my business partner this year.
Wow, that's fantastic. So was she really like setting up your kind of delivery frameworks, right? So you're making sure that you're delivering to a certain standard, that you're able to be efficient, but also still like very effective. Is that kind of what her
Yep.
role was?
Yep. And I mean, she created like all of the operations of the business. She knows HubSpot front and back. She like ran our part in the partner program, all of that good stuff. So yeah, she's fantastic.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's so good to have kind of a partner in crime for these things. And do you
Yep.
find that the two of you, like, is she still sort of your sounding board, right? You bounce ideas off each other, trusted ally.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we get along super well, and we're also extremely different in a lot of ways, which I
Right.
think is helpful in that, like, we don't, we, it's not groupthink all the time. We're not just always
Yeah.
agreeing with each other. We think in very different ways.
Yeah, to be able to respectfully challenge each other. That's super important.
Yeah.
Um, so talk to me a little bit about your personal slash professional branding, right? So you really aren't afraid to put yourself out there and be vulnerable, which I truly, truly admire. And I think many of us do. I think a lot of executives aren't yet doing it, whether it's fear or, just they don't have the time, right? But what would your advice be to somebody that's looking to kind of dabble in that personal professional branding and take the leap?
Well, you don't have to do it the way that I've done it
Okay.
is probably like number one.
Yeah.
I think that when I started, which was in 2018, people were doing a lot more like influencer type stuff, right? And they were getting more personal on the platform. It was right when like LinkedIn video became a thing and really like LinkedIn influencing became a thing.
Yeah.
Now I think there are a lot of people that just focus a lot more on like their business and what their business does, and that's it. And they're not really getting into that. I think my brand has evolved into like the business. And so like you get to know the business and me. Like I talked to a prospect the other day who has been following me pretty much since the beginning and he knew my whole life story, which
Wow.
was crazy. And it was cool like that. I mean, that's really like what this was all set up to do. And that scares the heck out of people. He said the same thing, like, power to you, but I don't want to do it. I think that we encourage our clients to do it all the time. And it's like, just get out there and start sharing your expertise,
Yeah.
the things that you know about your industry. What's your unique perspective and in your industry and in, the things that you're working on, or tell stories about your day to day. It doesn't have to be about your personal life. And I mean, I've strayed from sharing as much like personal stuff too.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, I feel like you being yourself, right? Even though you're probably not sharing every nitty gritty detail, just gives
Yeah.
prospects an idea of what it's like to work for you and work for your agency. So this prospect already came in probably feeling like, hey, Jackie's cool. Like I could have a beer with her.
Yeah. I mean, my
So
whole team is like that. We're all very just like, there is zero separation of personal and business. And
yeah,
it's like, I mean, I don't think there really ever should have been anyway. And we all just talk to each other like people, and we
yeah,
talk to our clients like people. And I mean, you should see us on some calls. We're like, I swear. But and that's just, I just try to show up as myself. And I think that other people should do the same.
I agree. And I feel like, keep it real, keep it fun. Because at the end of the day, like life is short. So let's just be who we are and embrace it.
100%.
So you mentioned a little bit about motherhood. Do you feel that your role as founder and CEO complements your role as a mother and vice versa?
Yeah, absolutely. I have gotten so much more patient. I was talking to my husband about this the other day, actually. Like, I think as a founder, and he runs his own business too, like you really are forced to look at yourself and work on yourself so much more than you might be in other ways, because you are a leader, you're running a business, you're working with clients, like you're in tough situations all the time, and you're really forced to like evaluate and reevaluate constantly how you behaved in a certain situation, how you're speaking to people, how you're handling hard situations. And it has helped me be such a better parent, especially as my kids have all become teenagers. All three of them now are teenagers.
Yeah.
Knowing how to like work in conflict and how to just like not get riled up, and all the way back to the beginning of our conversation when we were talking about like those hard situations, knowing how to just stay calm and not react has helped me not be reactive with my kids as they all became teenagers, which is super helpful. I think that we are so much closer because of gaining that skill. So
Yeah.
absolutely.
You are so right. I feel like one point you made around mindset work, like that's so important, right? Just being in the right headspace in all areas of your life. And I found the same thing around patience. It's like, of course, we want our company to grow quickly, right? But that's just not what it's like,
No.
especially in B2B. It's not like your buyer's adding to cart,
Yeah.
like to purchase your services, right? So you really have to nurture these engagements just like you would nurture, your family. So I'm fully with you on that. Um,
Absolutely.
so thank you so much, Jackie. So one final question. So what is one piece of advice that you would give to other women, or really to anyone that's looking to build and scale a successful business?
Everything takes longer than you think it will. And if you are thinking about quitting, I would encourage you to like ask yourself, how long can you keep going? How long can you stick it out? Because I have thought about quitting so many times, and I'm so glad that I didn't. Literally, I have like written the email, like, I'm shutting down this business. I'm not doing this anymore. I am, just like, because it can get so hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like often you get super, super uncomfortable right before you get to that next
Yeah.
breakthrough, right before you get to that next step. And I think everyone quits too soon.
Yeah.
So that's
That is
advice.
phenomenal advice. So be resilient, keep moving. Lessons from Jackie here, who has built a really successful marketing agency. By the way, love your new brand.
Thank you.
shiny, sexy, bold, very cool. So, kudos to you guys. I'm a big brand person as well, so love to see it.
Thank you. Yes, we are so excited about it. It was a long time coming, and it's hard to work on something that is your own baby, especially as a large group of creatives, but we got it out there. I'm
Got
very
that
happy.
alignment and you got there. That's
Yep.
awesome.
Yep.
So Jackie, if people want to get to know you better, they want to get in touch with Excelity, what should they do?
Yes, find me on LinkedIn. I'm in the DMs there constantly, and go to excelitymarketing.com, poke around, and you can reach out to us there on the contact page as well.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jackie, for being part of our Females Founder series. Your story is super inspiring, and we can't wait to see more from what's to come from you and your team.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.